Thanks for checking out Mornings with Lone Star podcast on irlonestar.com. Don't forget, Mornings with Lone Star is live every weekday on irlonestar.com from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., covering all things Texas country music and Montgomery County news, with weather and traffic at the top and bottom of every hour. You can call in at any time with a song request at 936-647-3776 or Facebook message us on Facebook or tweet us on Twitter. Mornings with Lone Star would like to say a special thank you to the sponsors of Mornings with Lone Star, our neighbors at Conroe Coffee in downtown Conroe, Catering by All-Star, Michal B. Young, financial representative with Northwestern Mutual in the Woodlands, and the Texas Renaissance Festival in Magnolia, Texas. Good old Wade Bowen right there with Sunshine's on a Dreamer. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we kind of redid our website last night. I got frustrated, and when I get frustrated, I sit down and work on stuff and fix it. So if you notice, if you go to irlonestar.com, there's no way you can mess up and not know how to tune in, because there's a giant button that says tune in, click here. You would not believe, Nathan, how many people have said, I don't know how to tune in.
Even though it was a pretty big button on the right-hand side.
There's a button there.
Well, click here to listen now.
Well, the worst thing about the web these days is how people access us. So we have people on their phones, people on their computers, people on their Game Boys and all that kind of stuff. And every website's different on different platforms. So that button actually was at the bottom, and I could not get it to the top, and it was frustrating. So now when you go to irlonestar.com on your phone, there's a big old button that says listen here right now.
It just pops you right between the eyes.
Yep. There's no way you can mess it up. I love it. And if you were looking for a podcast and things like that, all you got to do, there's a link at the bottom saying to continue on to Our Lone Star. It kind of brings you to the landing page, which has all our current shows. Like right now I'm looking at Nathan, because we have Billy Ballard right there for Constable Precinct 1. You can look at that. And then, of course, the Cindy Cochran Show with Kristen Bays from Friday. We're slowly working on those archives and podcasts. If you want to be in the loop without calling me, go to SoundCloud or YouTube. That's where I post them as soon as I can, and then I work them on irlonestar.com. Welcome to Meet the Candidates. It is 9:06 right now. Hanging out with Nathan Arrazate of
Montgomery County Lifestyle.
Montgomery County Lifestyle with no S. It's not plural, people. You need to get that right. But we have a special guest in this morning. We have J. Max Sanders, who's running for Constable Precinct number 3. Not Constable, Commissioner. I apologize for that. There's a lot of people. I'll turn your mic is now on.
No worries.
So we don't know what these candidates are going to do, so that's why I have to turn their mics off. And
that's probably pretty safe.
And but welcome to Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm glad you're here.
Thanks,
I'm
Dick.
talking to you now.
Yeah,
you can talk now. All right, good.
Thanks,
It's
Dick and
your
Nathan.
turn. Yeah.
There you go. Speak now. I'm waiting for the applaud.
Man,
there are 75 people. Look at everybody outside the window, J-Max.
It's amazing.
This is insane, the people you brought with you.
Are they going to the courthouse? We don't really know. We like to think they're going for
They're
us,
in handcuffs and shackled, so we won't go.
Or they're trying to get out of the rain, because it's gonna rain, people. But welcome to Meet the Candidates. If you're just now tuning in to Lone Star Internet Radio, just to give you kind of an overview of what we're doing from 9 to 10 a.m. every weekday here on Mornings to Lone Star. It's focused on the upcoming voting and political stuff that's happening. Early voting starts when, Nathan?
Early voting starts February 16th.
16th. mctx.org/election is a website. mctx.org/election has all the information. Sample ballot has how to register. Check your registry. You had till February 1st for that. We're early voting polling locations. Their times. There's plenty of time to go vote, people. And then also voting on March 1st. So that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to inform the average person, because these people are so high above us, these candidates. I mean, they're
that means you don't know us very well.
Yeah, royalty almost. But us low lives, our vote counts still. So for some reason, I can't believe this system is still around. I was waiting for revolution, at least when I was born. But I'm kidding, of course. But we have someone in the studio with Commissioner Precinct number 3. I'm really excited about this, because this is the first time I get to actually talk about what a commissioner does. Yep. Because from what I've been told growing up, my family has been not directly involved with politics, but, every family has an opinion. And apparently the opinion is the commissioner is the most powerful person in the county, because they get to tell us where to go on the roads and other things. If I'm mistaken, you need to correct me, but apparently the word commissioner is the title you were looking for. Is it the most powerful position in your opinion?
Actually, no. The most powerful position, classic candidate political answer, is the voter. And the reason that is because anybody that's elected only has a minimal amount of time to accomplish the goals they want to accomplish, and then their term is up. That's why it's called term, and then they have the opportunity to be voted out. So the most powerful person really is the voter, because they can change who they want to be their commissioner every 4 years.
So you can be like a couple of those Houston commissioners who build really nice roads in front of their houses and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because you got 4 years to do it.
Yeah, get it done. Start it now. Forget the planning. We'll just make it happen.
I just need this road. I'm tired of taking my trash on this gravel road. No, no, that's not what's happening here, folks. J-Mac is running for commissioner. I want to know right now what the commissioner does in your point of view and what their responsibilities to the voter is.
Sure. Absolutely. The Commissioner's Court is, think about, most people recognize what a mayor and a city council do, and the Commissioner's Court is the city council, and the mayor would be the equivalent of the county judge. And so anything that's not in the city limits of a particular municipality, whether it's Conroe or Oak Ridge North or Shenandoah or any other city that's Montgomery that's out here, the Commissioner's Court is the one entity that manages those public rights of ways in those public areas, whether it's a park or a road, or they also manage the budget for the county for the sheriff's department and the judicial system. All the judges in the courts, they provide funding for those.
And the constable, right? If
Yes,
I'm correct.
absolutely.
I'm learning. I'm hearing these constables talk about how important this commissioner's court.
Absolutely.
And they just become the jesters of the court, basically, from what I understand. But
no, if anything, the commissioners are the jesters. No, that's the constable's office, law enforcement, as well as the sheriff's department and the judicial side of things with all the court systems are all funded through the commissioner's court with about a $300 million budget plus.
So the day-to-day lifestyle of a commissioner is you're basically just reading a bunch of suggestions and then maintaining them if you pass them.
Yeah, something like
Man.
that. No, you're out checking on projects. You're making sure that if something happens, if the storm comes in, people think, wow, rain's bad or rain's good. Here's the catch. If a drain gets backed up and it's a culvert and it starts to overflow on the street, then it starts to go down the street into the neighbor's area and starts to flood there. Those are drainage water control problems that the commissioner's courts have to deal with, which is why
That's long term, though, right? You're not the emergency assistance kind of thing.
we're not the emergency system, but we're the first ones out there. So there's a flood, we get called at 4:00 in the morning, and we're out there.
Meaning your people, not you.
No, meaning me.
Oh, nice.
Absolutely.
Because I'm trying to figure out who I should send my windshield bill to.
Absolutely.
Because of all the construction. I'm like, man, I got 2 cracks. And
that's the beauty of comprehensive insurance.
Yeah. Well, I want to blame somebody else, and I don't want to take care of it. Okay.
It very well could have been the car in front of you that spun the rock.
No, I saw
up.
the rock come off of one of the overpasses while they're working.
That's impressive.
And I recorded it too. No, I'm just
And you
kidding.
got it on video?
And I got it on video.
Okay, indisputable evidence.
No,
There
I'm
we
just
go.
kidding. That's not. No, this is really interesting to me because there is a lot of movement happening with growth, and we talk about that in Montgomery County, and especially with the area, Precinct 3. It has a lot of roads and a lot of access to pretty much the important parts of Montgomery County, as in because you're coming up from Houston. That's what you're more of the gateway in a sense,
Sure.
from Houston and North Houston from Spring and things like that. If you don't mind, give us the parameters of the Commissioner Precinct 3 for the audience, so they know where your beat is. Where
Absolutely. You on the west side, you've got 2978
Yes.
is the westernmost part, the westernmost boundary. The northernmost part is Research Forest, and then you go crossover, going from west to east on the other side of 45, and you go east until you get to you go through Imperial Oaks and Bender's Landing, and the San Jacinto River is kind of the boundary line on the east side, and then it's everything south of that to the Harris County line, Spring Creek.
Man, see, that's a lot of people on a lot of roads and a lot of politics, that's for sure. I mean, I can't imagine the day-to-day life of that court, and especially in your position, because people will complain and complain and complain. Do you think you're ever going to get something that's like, good job, thumbs up?
Absolutely. You'd be surprised. People, when it doesn't go public and it's not meant to be, you don't need to toot your own horn, because if you're doing your job, you don't hear people in the news when they're doing their job. You hear people in the news when they're not doing their job. People complain about things when they're unhappy. They don't write a letter and say, you know what, somebody did a fantastic job. It does happen. But most of the time, if something good happens, they're going to call my office, or they may not. Oftentimes it may be when I'm out there at 4:00 in the morning dealing with a tornado that took out the streets being covered up, and we've got to be able to make sure that traffic can flow the following morning, and or emergency systems and services can get in there if needed. And that's when the thanks may or may not come, and that's when it's heartfelt and really appreciated.
Well, we're hanging out with J. Mac Sanders. He's running for County Commissioner, Precinct number 3. You can catch him online right now. Vote for JMac. Spelled exactly how I said it. It's voteforjmac.com. We're going to take a quick music break. When we come back, I'm going to think he's unhappy with the current commissioner because he's running against him. So maybe
fair assumption.
Maybe we'll find out what he's unhappy about, and we'll learn more about why JMac decided to run, and especially what he wants to do with that part of the county.
And for those that are listening that haven't actually seen my name in print, it's JMac with no K at the end of it.
Oh, true. It doesn't sound like exactly how it's spelled. Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
JAYMAC.
There you go.
So vote for JAYMAC.com. We'll be right back here on Mornings with Lone Star. I'm hanging out with Nathan Arrazate, Montgomery County Lifestyle. If you have a question, make sure to go on Facebook. Go to Montgomery County Lifestyle. He's right there chatting with people. I don't know what he does on the computer, but he's always on the computer when Nathan's in the studio. It's creeping me out.
People are sharing all of these posts, all of these podcasts. They're commenting on them, and they have to comment
Good.
back. You have to thank them for being aware, and that's what I'm doing.
I'm waiting for the pitchfork and fire outside of the studio because we're upsetting people. That's why.
And, of course, we're trying to get scheduled in the TCTPC announcement and Congressman Brady.
We're working on some stuff here on Lone Star Network. Right now, it's JMac's time, Nathan. And we'll be back here after the some music. Let's get to the music right now. If you have a song you want to hear, let us know. We're on Twitter and Facebook. Here's some Blue Edmondson right here with I Can't Run. This is a new one. You're listening to Mornings with Lone Star with Meet the Candidates. We'll be back with JMac.
I could get drunk. I could get high.
Hi, this is Joyce over at the Corner Pub in downtown Conroe. We're located across from the courthouse at 302 North Main. I just wanted to tell you that we are now carrying a large selection of craft beer, along with all your old favorites to quench your thirst. Our deli is featuring a new pub sub, loaded with bacon, roast beef, turkey, spicy mustard, lettuce, tomato, all on a warm sub bun. We're open weekdays 11 a.m. to 2 a.m., on Saturdays 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. And as always, live music each evening for your listening pleasure.
Behind every victory is someone who helped make it happen. Call them mentors, coaches, or even mom or dad. At Northwestern Mutual, we call them partners, the financial professionals that can help you tap into strengths you might not even know you have, and guide you where you want to be financially and personally, because no one wins alone. Start building financial security with Northwestern Mutual. Contact Michael Young today. Visit michael.b.young@nm.com. You and Northwestern Mutual, stronger together. The Northwestern Mutual Life Insurance Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Right. That was Adam Peters right there. Golden Gravel Road. 9:21 here on Mornings with Lone Star. Good morning, everybody. Hope everyone's enjoying their morning, anticipating the rain. But right now it is Meet the Candidates. We're with J. Mac Sanders running for County Commissioner, Precinct number 3. I do have a question for him right now. I'm on your website. Vote for JMac. That's JAYMAC.com. Why don't you say Precinct number 3? Is that just... I'm just wondering on this sign. Uh-oh.
You know, that's a great
We better
question.
call Joey, whoever the
Well,
web
the good
guy.
news is you're not going to find the name on any other ballot. So whatever you go vote, you're either going to be on the ballot or you're not. So the Precinct 3 is as most people don't even know which precinct they live in.
Which
so
is normal.
It's very normal. So that's why you say county commissioner.
Well, that's a suggestion we do to the welcome wagons.
Sure.
Right? Whoever's in charge of their local neighborhood welcome wagon.
Sure.
Put a nice frame picture of their current commissioner.
Exactly. And a handout of their precinct.
And it says, please hang me in your house. So you know, that'd
Well,
be
and then
great.
people don't know. They're mean, oh, I'm in precinct 3, but I thought my voting precinct was precinct 62.
It's like, oh, you thought we're wrong.
Because the voting precincts are inside of the big precinct, and then there's 5 constable precincts, but there's only 4 commissioner precincts.
Yeah.
So everybody has 3 different precinct numbers that they've got, and so it's easier just to put county commissioner because it's either going to be on the ballot or it's not.
I would be really interested to know, Nathan, is if somehow we could tally up people who are voting, early voting, and on March 1st, if they really know who the candidate is. And
the only way to do that would be an exit poll. Would be to stand there and talk to people as they're going in / going out. And, of course, as they're going in, they're going to go, get away. Get away, demon. Get
Absolutely.
Because you're getting
Leave me
slammed with
alone.
all those slate cards. And and you've always got 1 or 2 candidates, it seems like.
you should be giving out free hugs.
Well, J-Mac's going to do it. Everybody
Yeah.
needs a hug.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like there's always at least one candidate who's either themselves or have a supporter that's obnoxious.
A little aggressive.
Why not?
Aggressive. See,
Hey,
there
you gotta.
He's being nicer than me.
Is he
said
being
aggressive.
Are they being Texas aggressive?
No, they're being like, the other guy's a liar, and and you know what, though? If it turns people off.
Absolutely, it turns people off. It's no fun. Not at all. And that's where having worked at the polls and helped people before, you just let them come up to you. If they want your information, they know what you're doing. They'll ask for it.
I mean, that's really why I was very disappointed to learn that duels used to be in favor of how to handle situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then we stopped doing that. I don't really get it why we stopped. But, hey, you got a problem with somebody, challenge them to a duel. And that's...
J-Mac, I think we're just going to bypass
Yeah,
that.
I'm not
and
gonna
you
answer that
tell us
question.
why
you don't think we should bring that back?
Well, we could paper, rock, scissors duel.
Because I'm gonna tie this in. Don't worry.
Sure.
You are running against people.
Sure.
And I kind of want to know
Compare and contrast.
the thought that went through your mind right when it happened. Why you're doing this? Because it's interesting to see the perspective of these candidates going. I just don't like that guy, or it's more of like I don't like what's going on currently in my county, or it's more of I have a great idea that I want to see if I can get it implemented.
Sure.
So which one are you?
Yeah, most of the time you can break down somebody that runs for office into a race of opportunity or a race of necessity.
You want that
Yeah,
dirt?
absolutely.
You want that dirt road to become a gravel road?
Or it's an open seat. There's no incumbent, and so there's an opportunity for an open seat and not incumbent.
I got my Wednesday nights open.
Absolutely.
I can make those meetings.
Every other Tuesday I can make commissioner's court.
Yeah,
I can make
do
that fit in.
I could-
So that'll work for me. But no, I'm running because this is not a race of opportunity for me. This is a race of necessity.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that's why I'm running. There are some broken relationships and some ethical concerns and some integrity concerns that I have with the current commissioner. And so those issues need to be brought up and brought out. And it's, I'm not running because he doesn't know concrete or asphalt or how to build a bridge. There's a learning curve for everything. I'm running because of compare and contrast. I need to be running because this candidate, this current sitting commissioner needs an opponent.
See, that's a good way to look at it because, that's the only way to bring things to light.
Yeah.
And just the compare and contrast to get people thinking about what the commissioner does, especially what they've done in the past. I don't know how long we are going to have how many people, actually, sorry, I'm like going all over the place.
Sure.
How many people are running for commissioner right now? Do you know who registered? Two people.
There were 3 that registered, and then one of them registered by signatures, and they didn't have sufficient signatures, so they were not going to be on the ballot.
They probably just realized they couldn't make the meetings.
Well, no, actually,
bingo night.
the existing commissioner went and got the signatures and did some homework, and 3 hours before the deadline went to the county chair and said, "Hey, these aren't good." And
you think there'd be better things to do with your time, but you know what? Whatever it takes to win, right?
Something like that.
Something like that. I like it. Okay, so let's
be fair, be honest, be truthful, look people in the eyes, shake their hand, let them know you're here for them. You're not going to blow smoke. You're going to be able to help them if you can. If you can't, just tell them. And if you've got to hurt their feelings, which you're going to hurt people's feelings, tell them what's about to happen. People can handle bad news. They can handle tough times. Just let them know what's going on. Set expectations. Don't promise the moon and deliver a moon tower.
Yeah, I like it. Well, at least they're trying, right? No, but one thing that's interesting with the commissioner is tell me the relations in the past when it comes to the voters, because I know a hot topic with the voters is the road bonds. Mm-hmm. And tell me the relation between a commissioner and a road bond, and then also the effectiveness of what the commissioner has to do when they say a road bond is passed. I know that's kind of a hard question to answer, but
not at all. Not at all. The road bond is when a road bond is passed, the commissioner has the authority to spend that road bond money in a way they see fit for roads. So the recommendation of the road bond of these are the projects we're going to work on, those projects may not actually happen. It's a suggestion of where we want this. Why we want you to vote for the bond is because these are the roads we're going to fix. But they may not end up getting fixed.
Well, the commissioner, is it necessarily a supporter of road bonds, or is it more of just the maintainer of road bonds? You're the after.
Sure, yes. The commissioners typically are in support of road bonds. Rarely, if ever, do we go, you know what, we have so many roads and they're so well maintained that we don't need any more for a long time. That doesn't happen, because what happens is there's land that's being developed, and as it's being developed, you realize, okay, this was a 2-lane road. This now needs to be a 2-lane road with a middle turning lane, so there's no backstop on traffic for emergency services, so people can get by, because oftentimes these 2-lane roads don't necessarily have large shoulders. So most of the time, I can't think of many times that there weren't, the commissioners and the county judge are typically in support of road bonds.
And yeah, because it's, the political boom when the road bonds are out. I mean, it's huge. You see signs not even telling people who to vote for, is what to vote for. So there's some special interests involved, because I don't know if I would just be like, I just need to pay for some signs that says you vote for this, unless there's something for me in it. So it's interesting in the future of Montgomery County. One thing I wanted to make a point that I've learned about the commissioner is you're not necessarily in charge of I-45.
Nope.
You're in charge of county roads and
anything not inside of a city.
Anything not inside of a city.
Exactly. So if it's inside the city limits of Shenandoah or Conroe or Oak Ridge North, then those are entirely in the purview of that city. They can control stoplights, they control road construction, drainage, maintenance, etc. Anything that's not in those is county controlled.
So you would be keeping an eye on the developing areas, in a sense.
The developing areas, and interestingly enough, the entire Woodlands. The Woodlands is not a municipality.
Yeah.
So
no wonder Commissioner 3 is such a sought after. Man, you guys, gold diggers. That's what I'm telling you.
There's no gold under the Woodlands.
Here's what I want to ask
My
you about
kids
that.
have looked.
We're talking about the roads and this and that, whatever, but the meat and potatoes is it was a hot button.
Sure.
And unfortunately, some friends turned against friends.
Sure.
What's the deal on that? What is your take on
Frenemies?
how that went and where it went, and in relationship also to why you're running for your position?
The road bond originally had.
Which one are we talking about? There's a lot of road bonds.
There's a May road bond and there was a November road bond.
Yeah.
The May road bond had the Woodlands Parkway extension in it from 2978 out to 249.
Okay.
Is what they're calling as the Woodlands Parkway extension. And that was the most contentious position, or the most contentious potential project inside of that. And that single-handedly probably killed the road bond as a whole. That project was taken out, as well as a couple other projects were taken out, and the road bond amount was reduced from, I believe it was $350 million down to $280 million. So after that was reduced and taken out, another vote came around, and without the Woodlands Parkway extension, it seemed to be, obviously, it passed, so it had a favorable opinion and a favorable impression.
I mean, that's kind of the neat thing about the way our system works. If it doesn't work, you can try again or work together and see what does work. And we can't make everyone happy, I imagine.
You're starting to talk about some things that are not unique, but some reasons exactly why I'm running.
Yeah.
Is because you have to have relationships. We don't have to like each other every day. When you work together and you spend 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, 45, 50 weeks a year, all the time, there's going to be a disagreement here and there about how to do something. I think your website should be blue, and you're like, no, I think my website should be red. And you don't end up at the end of the day mad at each other, and I'm going to hate you for the rest of my life. It's about having relationships.
That's how I feel about a lot of things.
Well, and I can, in the little bit that I've gotten to know you, I can see that actually. But just kidding there. But we've got to have long-term relationships, and it's not a get along to go along. It's a have conviction when you have a position, and it's okay to disagree, but it's not okay to be disagreeable. That's not what voters hired you to do. That's what politicians have been. You look at Washington, everybody's sick and tired of everybody infighting instead of finding common ground. I'm a common sense conservative. I want to find common ground to be able to work with everybody.
Yeah. My favorite quote from those old people back in the 1800s is Thomas Jefferson. When in his inaugural address, he said, it's not a matter of difference of opinion, but not a difference of principle. I kind of probably messed that one up because there's probably...
Well, and that's, at the end of the day, most of the people have the same vision. When you start getting 90% agreement and you start splitting hairs over the remaining 10%, you got to remember, you're still on the same page for 90% of the stuff. We still need roads. We still need to be able to have maintenance. We need to be able to have money in reserve. We need to be able to have proper, not waste any money in the process and not spend money on things we don't have to spend money on.
That seems to be the biggest topic in American politics.
Absolutely.
Is the debt and how we spend our money. So if you don't mind, we're going to take another music break. I'm sitting here with Nathan Arrazate, and he's typing away on the keyboard. Visit him online on Facebook with Montgomery County Lifestyle. Write in your questions to J. Mac Sanders. You can check him out online, right, actually, at Vote for JMac. That's JAYMAC.com. When we come back, I want to know more about what he plans to do with his role as a county commissioner, and especially how that's going to affect our day-to-day and then long-term, because there is two ways to look at this position. Right now, we got great music. This is Michael Player If you don't know who Michael Player, he plays at Ransom Steakhouse all the time. He released a new CD called Lonesome in Texas. This song's called Caliche Road. You're listening to Mornings of the Lone Star with Meet the Candidates with J. Mac Sanders.
Imagine a place where you can sip on Italian coffee and have a sandwich, followed by a fabulous, delectable pastry. We invite you to stop by Conroe Coffee to experience old world charm. Conroe Coffee is located next to the historic Creighton Theater in downtown Conroe. We are open 7 days a week. Please check our website for business hours at conroecoffee.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Have a caffeinated day.
It's 9:38. Coming up at 10 o'clock is the Cindy Cochran Show. Summer Ashley with Michael Player is going to be in the studio because, you know, every Wednesday they do music. And I think Summer Ashley is going to be playing at Game On Sports Bar down the street, Fraser Street, and they're going to be talking about that. She'll probably be playing some music too, hopefully. But right now it is Meet the Candidates. We're hanging out with J. Mac Sanders. J. Mac, voteforjmac.com. That's JAYMAC.com, running for County Commissioner for the early election and, of course, the March 1st election. We're kind of continuing our conversation. If you're just now joining us, don't forget these interviews are podcasted on SoundCloud and, of course, YouTube and irlonestar.com. And we appreciate you tuning in right now. We left the conversation. We're coming back into it because we're going to be. I want to know more about what he plans on doing if he is commissioner, and really where he sees the improvements that need to be made in that precinct. So, J-Mac, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And so, what in the future, Montgomery County and the other areas that the commissioner or the precinct really has, what improvements can we make if you were a commissioner?
Sure, absolutely. The obviously with the road bond passing, there's going to be some money to be able to improve some roads and create some roads and to maintain some roads.
Roads.
Roads. That's what it's about. That's why it's called a road bond, and that's on the books. Most road projects are on the books long before. By the time you see the road being built, it was planned, funded, environmental, right of way. Everything was done many 3, 5, 7, 10 years out. The funding to get matching funds from Texas and the federal government for road construction projects for the 2015 and 2017 has already happened. So if you already know it's going to be funded in 2017 potentially, that's going to be then built many years after that. So we've got roads that are here, some roads that need some fixing, but some of the things that I'd like to accomplish, where I'd like to go, is I'd like to have a quarterly meeting with me and the mayor of Oak Ridge North, the mayor of Shenandoah, and the chair of the Woodlands Township Board, or their respective, emissaries or staff members they would like to send.
The movers.
I don't know. Yes. Well, for whatever. You might consider that.
You're trying to build these roads, so someone's got to do it.
Absolutely. Well, here's the thing. Each one of these entities and these cities, municipalities, and organizations has their own separate needs, and they don't always overlap. They do to a percentage because the residents in Shenandoah and Oak Ridge North and the Woodlands, and most of Shenandoah, if not all of it, is not in Precinct 3. It's not my precinct, but Research Forest, which is the big chunk of Shenandoah as far as getting in and getting out, as well as on the east side with Portofino and the Tamina Road, they all mirror and back up to Precinct 3. So that's why Shenandoah needs to be involved. While they're not immediately in the precinct, they very well may be, and the impact of the roads that are done in Precinct 3 will absolutely impact Shenandoah. So Shenandoah needs to be there, Oak Ridge North needs to be there, the Woodlands Township needs to be there. And we need to have a conversation and find out where do we have common ground? B, what does everybody need? And to be able to speak freely and to understand where everybody's coming from, because I expect Chairman Robb of the Woodlands Township to represent the Woodlands. I expect Mayor Kirkendall of Oak Ridge North to absolutely represent Oak Ridge North, and I expect Mayor Gary Watts to represent Shenandoah. And I expect Precinct 3 Commissioner to represent the residents of Precinct 3, because there are massive homeowners associations and many other residents. Timber Lakes, Timber Ridge, Imperial Oaks, Bender's Landing, Spring Trails, Harmony, and other residents south of Rayford and Sawdust that are not represented because they live in a municipality. Their only representative is the Precinct 3 Commissioner. That's the only person that represents them at the local level. So everybody needs to get together and find out what is ultimately going to be a need for you down the road. That's how you were asking questions about how do we fix things going forward? What's the projection? Where do you want to go with that? Until everybody's in the room and saying, hey, this is where I'd like to go, we don't know what common ground we have. My understanding, the four of those people, those four entities, Oak Ridge North, Shenandoah, the Woodlands, and the commissioner have never sat in a room, just the four of them by themselves, and had a conversation about what you need. What do you need? Where are you seeing? What are you hearing from your constituents? Because they're responsible for their own roads, absent the Woodlands. Oak Ridge North and Shenandoah are, so they don't call the county commissioner's office to fix a road in Shenandoah or fix a road in Oak Ridge North. They call the mayor. They call the mayor's office. And until there's a connection point between those mayors and those representatives' offices and the county commissioner, you don't realize that, okay, there's a road that you've got that goes to the middle of your city that absolutely, once it crosses the city boundaries, it's county property, and it's a county road. So if that's something you're hearing you need to get fixed and there's things that we need to talk about, let's plan for that in the future going forward.
That seems to be a recurring thing, Nathan, about the relationships with the communities and being able to have a communication line to that instead of just kind of waiting until there's a problem. This is more of a, if you just communicate and maintain, then
be proactive instead of reactive.
Yes.
Actually,
that sounds like kind of like
something's coming up.
The thing that are happening with all these candidates. They're trying to develop a better relationship with the citizen in a sense. So that's pretty interesting to me because, like I said, a lot of people don't know what the commissioner does. A lot of people don't know what precinct 3 is for a commissioner, for a county commissioner. That's a key word, county commissioner.
Absolutely.
Because when I learned that's what y'all are in control of, everything outside of city, like right when you said that, and like I-45 is not them. I'm like, man. So what roads are there? Because I'll probably never drive on 75% of those roads, but somebody will.
Absolutely.
And they need to be maintained. And and it is kind of interesting because so I appreciate you coming in and talking about why you're running against I guess it incumbent. Is that the correct word?
Correct. That is the correct word.
So if you're running again, you're already in that position. It's called incumbent. So.
Yep, he's the incumbent. I'm the challenger.
Look at that. Is that just like the official terms you got to write down on a piece of paper?
It is the official term, and I even think on the ballot he has a little I next to his name, which stands for incumbent. So it lets people know who the incumbent is.
Okay. That's interesting. That's
which can be good or bad.
Yeah, both ways. So right now, if you don't mind, we have a few minutes before the Cindy Cochran Show. I want to give you a platform of really tell us who you are, what's coming up. Do you have a fundraiser, or like do you have a public forum you're going to, a private forum you're going to? Are there private forums?
No, not really. There may be, but
have you been followed by a PI recently?
If he's good, I probably wouldn't know.
Interesting.
There you go.
If he's a good PI, I probably don't know that I'm being followed. No,
He asked that because the Texas Conservative Tea Party Coalition
they're vetting
has
people.
taken so much time to make a good decision. They had several people out there that were vetting, just chit-chatting. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Off to the side. And all of a sudden, wow, there you go. So
you find out the real person.
Yep, and it looks like the announcement will be made tomorrow here on the radio. So
sure.
You
Absolutely.
might have been followed by that PI, and you might have done a good job.
Hey, that'd be phenomenal. When you don't have to, when you tell the truth, you don't have to remember a bunch of lies. It's really not complicated. Right is right and wrong is wrong. So we've had 3 candidate forums so far, or proposed forums. One with the Montgomery County Law Enforcement Association back in October. I attended that. My opponent did not attend that forum. We had a forum with scheduled with the Community Impact News at the Chamber of Commerce down in the Woodlands. That was supposed to be yesterday morning at 8 a.m., and that was a forum that he did not attend as well. And we had a forum at Crichton Theater next door about 4 or 5 weeks ago.
We were there.
Y'all were there, absolutely. Y'all actually were broadcasting it live. And he was not at that forum either. So there are forums and there are avenues and ways for the public to get to know their incumbent sitting.
Well, as part of
elected
your
officials.
mission is being a neighbor or more.
Well, you got to be present. That's your job, is to be able to answer questions, field questions.
I'm telling you, the welcome wagon picture will really work wonders.
This is true. That's when I put my wife and kids on it.
People hang up pictures of presidents. Why not commissioners?
Well, this is true. I know why they're not going to hang the one up of this
Nathan's
commissioner.
like, what is this guy talking about?
Exactly.
But no, if you don't mind, we are going to have to wrap it up. So give us something more about you and about what's coming up for you and what you do.
Absolutely. I've got a community service background. I've worked in Washington, D.C. after college for a couple of years for 2 United States senators. I was a personal assistant / driver for one of them, and worked in the legislative capacity as a legislative consultant for Senator Tim Hutchinson from Arkansas. And when I was up in Washington, D.C., I was there on 9/11. And the morning of 9/11, we get to the office, and the first plane had not hit yet. And the first plane hit, and everybody was kind of concerned and wasn't quite sure what was going on. The chief of staff at the time brought everybody into the conference room and said, "Hey, everybody sit tight. We're not sure what's going on. It could be bad, but we're in the safest airspace in the world." We've got the White House. We've got the Pentagon. We've got the United States Capitol. We've got
So
Supreme Court.
Everybody else.
We are in the safest place in the world for airspace. And to a degree, that's absolutely correct. And every single person believed that at 6 a.m. on September 11th. Not everybody believed that at noon on September 11th. They knew it was different. And when the second plane hit, everybody knew something was up. And before they could really even call us to say, hey, we're out, I'm sitting there watching a television with closed caption TV that has the Senate floor on it. And you can see the desk and the gavel and the clock running and so forth. And I remember visually seeing the floor, the gavel. I believe I remember seeing the gavel and the desk, and it said at the bottom, the Senate had been evacuated. And I'm thinking, no, it hasn't. I'm sitting right here in one of the buildings. So literally I got up from my desk, ran, left my keys on my desk and my cell phone, and ran out of the building, along with 5,000 other people in the buildings that were in each building on both sides in the House and Senate. And that was the day you recognized it was very, very real. This is not a joke. We don't know what's going on. For the first time as a nation in a long, long time, with the massive amounts of communication we have, we don't know what's going on. And it was very promising for the next 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody was an American. And even those that were here that were trying to become an American were an American. And they were excited about it. And everybody was united. They weren't divided. For a common goal. Get the bad guy, help the good guy. And that's something I'm trying to do in Precinct 3 is unite people together, unite communities together, unite organizations together, not divide them. I don't have all the right answers. And if you know me for any amount of time, you learn that pretty quickly. But the ability to listen to people with honesty and humility, because I work at the pleasure of the voter, and I'm term limited out every single time. I have to get reelected if I'm elected. And you're up for a job performance review. It's a performance review. If the performance is good, you get reelected. So it's no different. It's part of my job as compare and contrast is to bring up the performance of the previous 3 years. And there are some concerns out there.
What particular concerns did you have that put the nail in the coffin and said, you woke up and said, J-Mac, dadgummit, I need to make a difference because...
Absolutely. We've had 2 lawsuits by former employees against the Precinct 3 commissioner for EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission lawsuits, that the county settled one of them out of court. And the county doesn't typically settle a lawsuit out of court unless they have a reason to make sure information doesn't come out. It's classic politics. It doesn't have to happen that way, and it shouldn't necessarily happen that way. But it did happen that way. That's taxpayer wasted money. We don't need to be spending our money settling lawsuits. If you believe you're truly innocent as a politician, and the county believes you are truly innocent, and you believe you're innocent, and you believe that and you can pitch that to your supporters, you should be able to go raise money for your defense, a la Rick Perry, a la Tom DeLay, a la other candidates around the country that have gone and raised. Bill Clinton did this. They raised private money for their legal defense. And in the event that they're exonerated, then I'm fine to have the taxpayer reimburse them, because then we found out it was a frivolous lawsuit. It was an unnecessary lawsuit that was just coming after you as a personal attack. But in this instance, we settled. That is money that the taxpayer should not have spent in that defense. And the numerous hours the county attorney spent, the county attorney staff spent, outside counsel spent. We had to pay outside counsel for this. We have a county attorney's office in staff with a massive staff of attorneys, and yet we still paid outside counsel to take care of these problems. These are things that are wasted money. And in an environment where we have a current commissioner that says, you know what, we don't need to have wasteful spending. We need to be watching the store. We need to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. It's not a position of he's not standing where he believes or what he's espoused. So the proof is in the pudding, and he's trying to preach to the choir, but he's got a different sermon. And that's part of a concern that I've got. He also took a vote home. There was a vote in Commissioner's Court, and he literally, after he voted yes, he took the document home that was signed, and it was a government document. He took the document home, changed his yes vote to a no, and took it back the next day. And said, here, clerk, we're good. The clerk's like, what? No, you can't do that. Well, I wanted to change my vote. And they said, well, let's go back and review the record. Let's make sure we didn't make a mistake as we were creating the document to sign and that you really did say no. We'll verify this just to make sure. They went back, they listened to the recording, and they absolutely heard a yes vote, not a no vote. That's where I have integrity concerns and ethics concerns. Either you have integrity and ethics before you get to office or you don't. And it's proven in your first term of office. It proves you have it or it proves you don't. So those are things. That's why I'm running from a compare and contrast. And that was my, you know what, no more. Somebody's got to run. These issues need to be exposed. And if the voters voting back in, then the voters voting back in. But at the end of the day, they need to understand what's going on and what may or may not be happening behind closed doors. Because if that's what you're willing to do in public, and think that there's not a problem, what are you going to do inside your office or behind closed doors or with a special interest group? And what kind of promises are you going to make that we'll never hear about? That's what scares the heck out of me. That's why people hate Washington. That's why people hate politicians, is because they do these things, and he's done these things. When you're a politician that does these things, it makes people angry, and I'm trying to get that message out for people to understand that there are real concerns. I'm not running because he can't build a road. I'm running because I believe that he's an unethical county commissioner and that there are integrity concerns. When you can't trust somebody you work with and you can't trust your boss to say, hey, boss, I may have a disagreement with you. Please don't retaliate against me. Please don't make me fear for my job. That's a reasonable concern. That's not the kind of power. That's a fiefdom concept. That's a kingdom kind of concept. And that's not right. That's not where we live. And that's not the kind of place we live, especially in Texas. Come and take it. So
it is now wrapping up time. J. Max Sanders for County Commissioner, our special guest today on Meet the Candidates. We'll be posting this podcast sometime today, so keep an eye out at irlonestar.com and, of course, on our social media. Special thank you to Nathan Arrazate of Montgomery County Lifestyle, really pushing to get this information out there. Coming up tomorrow, who's our special guest?
Tomorrow, we are going to have Dwayne Ham of the Texas Conservative Tea Party Coalition will be announcing live on air their endorsements, explanations as to why, and explanations and thanks and gratitude to those that they chose not to endorse at this time.
All right. That's going to be a lot of fun. Keep an eye out on irlonestar.com with Mornings of the Lone Star. Coming next is the Cindy Cochran Show. Special thanks to J. Mac. He still wants to get, he's a politician. He wants to get one more word in.
Final plug. Here, I'd like to give you my cell phone. So if you have any questions, give me a call. 832-797-9229.
I'm signing you up for some things now.
Absolutely. I can't wait. It won't be the first time. But no, seriously, if you have questions or concerns, call me. I'm happy to talk with anybody. I'm not going to stand behind an office. I'm not going to stand behind a position.
Well, again, thank you so much. We're going to get to a music break before the Cindy Cochran Show. Summer Ashley, a musician, is going to be in the studio because today is Wednesday, and it is Music Wednesdays with Cindy Cochran. Again, Nathan, thanks for coming in. Right now, let's do some Nick Versosa, who will be in town at the Corner Pub coming up. This song's called Love on It, live from the Armadillo.
Thank you for checking out a podcast on Lone Star Internet Radio. Lone Star Internet Radio is Montgomery County's community radio station, broadcasting from the heart of Conroe, Texas. If you are interested in sponsoring a program for Lone Star Internet Radio, just visit us online at irlonestar.com. or message us on Facebook. We are always taking song requests on Twitter, and if you are interested in getting involved with the station by either hosting your own show or if you want to be a DJ, just contact Dick at irlonestar.com. Lone Star Internet Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station.